should stay around. Sometimes I feel like it should, because I get a lot of feedback from people saying that it gave them something to do when, like, I don't know, was it the world was on lockdown? There was a big portion of maybe a big portion of the world was on lockdown. I don't even know. I don't really try to put much thought into that. What I do know is that COVID and coffee gave people with a similarity, meaning obviously, you know, working with this RC stuff, it gave people like a place to hang out. And I enjoyed it very much. I didn't like being, you know, on lockdown, but tried to make the best use of that whole scenario. I'm thinking about doing a poll, and can't remember if I actually did the poll or whatever. I don't actually remember. I'm telling you, man, if you knew me, you would realize that this is normal. That there's a movie, the heck is the name of the movie? Was the movie, I don't think it wasn't the movie Up. It may have been like a Pixar movie. The heck was it? It had a talking dog in it. Well, the dog had like a collar and it allowed the dog to talk. Can't remember what the name of that movie was. But the dog's name was Doug. And something that would distract him would be squirrel, right? And that, a lot of times, that is the way things are for me. And I'm okay with that. Maybe I should have like a shirt made up that says squirrel on it. I don't know, man. But yeah, I sometimes, and I'm not saying I don't have the time, because there are occasions, like say today, there are occasions when I do have the time to do COVID and coffee, but you realize how much time that it takes to, you know, to do it. I mean, you would think that you would have something to watch. And I do know that a lot of times it's, you know, like what it is right now. I know that there's the beginning of Up was super depressing. Right. Good movie, though. It was a good movie. I don't remember what the name of that movie was. It definitely wasn't Up, but it was some kind of animated movie that was similar to that. I could probably look it up on the internet, but I don't even know where I'm going with this. Talking about COVID and coffee and whether if it's still valid. And in my mind, I say that it is, because what it did is it created a good group of a big group of a bunch of just good people that want to just, you know, or had the time at the time to hang out. Now, obviously, I've noticed that the numbers, you know, have been dwindling, and that's because people are working. But it doesn't seem fair for those people that actually have the time, you know, maybe even like right now in parts of the world where things are winding down. COVID and coffee, granted, it's, you know, 8:30 in the morning over here for me, and I do have my coffee. But I've got things scheduled for later today, work-wise. So figured I had the time. I might as well just go ahead and do a COVID and coffee and do a little bit of work on Dragbug. Now, I brought Dragbug back yesterday because I've been meaning to. It's just right now my backyard's still a mess. It seems like when I have the time to work on the backyard, I actually can't because it's wet. It's raining. It's mud. It's like that balance between, you know, making real money, work, and being able to finish up a project seems to be the story of my life. But like I said, I've got time this morning, COVID and coffee, work on Dragbug. I don't know if you've seen the video. I did release a video about Dragbug. If you want to know what Dragbug is, like I think you just search rcguygarage Dragbug. Maybe something will come up. A few videos. It was basically a budget build. I went outside of that scope of the budget build for a short period yesterday. I didn't release any of the footage, you know, for that. I do have footage. I don't know if it's valid or if it makes any sense to put that video footage out there right now, because I took a part of that budget and totally blew it by putting on beadlock wheels. And the beadlock wheels are really overkill for this particular project, because this vehicle doesn't have the guts to go. I'm working with a stock system. I'm working with budget, like literally everything, budget electronics. Even making the wheelie bar was budget. It's made from exotic metals, hand carved. And I ended up losing parts, and I didn't realize it. And what's funny is, as I made the video, because I knew where about in the video that I lost the wheels, you could start to see the negative but positive reaction of how, when the wheelie bar would hit, how it would actually cause the vehicle to want to veer right, but because I had the suspension set up for a harder hit on the right, it kind of counteracted. I think that's the way it is. I don't know. This Dragbug is funny, man. It's a cool little project. So what I'm going to do right now, where's the tires that I was running? So these are the tires that I was actually running. Now, these are from the Habao. Is it a Habao TT? I think it's like a Habao TT. And obviously these tires and wheels are not, well, maybe not the wheels, but these tires are not designed for maximum on-road grip. But there was a reason why I chose this first instead of going with a drag tire. The reason why is because with having no slipper clutch with Dragbug, I needed something to give me a little bit of slip. But because this tire is so soft, cushy, just the hit of this car causes more traction, but still gives a little bit of slip. When I switched to the drag tires, it totally upset the entire car. I had this car to the point of where I was full trigger, and that's the way I like to do it. I like to try to figure, and will I pedal it after the fact? Yes. But I like to just nail that throttle. And also not having a censored system is killing this too. But I like to just nail that throttle, which you watch the whole, vehicle just go into like convulsions, trying to find that rotation of the motor, being a non-censored system. So it takes off. And once the ESC and the motor kind of, talk to each other and say, all right, we're going forward, it just hits, and it hits nice. When I switched to not this tire, I switched to a tire that was like this. See, this is the Traxxas drag slash tire. I think this is going to change some things up. Weight-wise between the two, I could probably throw it on the gram scale just to get an idea. But what I did is I had a set of, I don't even know why I didn't switch over to these, other than I was thinking too much traction. But I switched over to actually these aren't the Martin Brothers, these are the Curls. I switched over to the Ruthless Wheels Curl Beadlock drag tires, well, wheels in the back, running Hoosiers, and it was actually too much grip. And not being able to slip it totally threw everything off. Now, this car has limits. The car has limits on spring rate. It has limits on even on the front. It's perfectly set up for this tire, which is absolutely nuts. I was getting such consistent full trigger pulls, and it was going straight. And when I switched to a tire that more hooks up, I don't know what I was fighting. I kept on trying to adjust. I kept trying to adjust the springs, and I got to a point to where I was basically at a lockout. Now, what I probably could do is add shims. If I add shims to the springs, I can get a little bit more spring pressure, which will cause the vehicle to be able to, do you know what I mean? Like, tag the wheelie bar less. It'll more use the suspension. I also lost the wheels, or a wheel, on the exotically fabricated wheelie bar that I have here. And this could be either a positive or a negative. Once again, it did end up going straight. I think. Maybe it didn't. I don't know. I think what I should do is switch over to a wheel like this. I can't even remember what this is off of. This might be off of the DR10. And my problem with organization is, everything's all paper plates and cardboard boxes. So that's bad when it comes to, when you should have things separated. Should have like a big box or a section that's all drag stuff related. Like, that thing right there. If I did that, I would have wasted less time trying to figure out what I did with this. And this works. It's maybe not ideal, but it does work. I should have Loctited that wheelie bar setup when I put it together, but I just wasn't thinking. The wheel side that lost, that came off, if you figure out how it came off, it was the left side that came off. And the reason why that was because every time that wheelie bar would hit, there's a certain amount of, wheel wobble, and the wheel wobble basically unscrewed the bolt that was holding the wheelie bar in. And the crazy part, like I said, I didn't even realize it, I think, until the very end. Like, I think I realized it, like, when I was going to walk in. I went to go pick the car up by the wheelie bar, and that's when my hands realized, oh, there's a wheel missing. Ah, crap, there's no way I'm going to find that. So, DR10 was a big, right. And I kind of said that. The funny thing is, right, even though the DR10 out of the box is a letdown, after $300 worth of upgrades, you can get it to go. And it was the first RTR. So I actually That's probably a car that I'll never get rid of because it actually got me into RC drag racing. Well, not in competitive yet, because I'm not even close to being competitive. Although I'll tell you, man, drag bug was being kind of competitive yesterday. Maybe in like the ultra slow class. And I was running this pack right here, which is my OVONIC. It's an OVONIC Air little race pack. It's a 5,100C, I think 200 burst, maybe not 200 burst, I don't know. 7.4 2S pack. Now, I'm going to get off of my face because I think you've seen enough of my face this morning. I want to just get back on drag bug and maybe explain a couple of things about this particular vehicle, why I chose this, why it was even a challenge. And it was a very broad range challenge to where it was just take a vehicle that you've got, maybe something that's inexpensive in your, thing. This was a 4-wheel drive, shaft-driven, brushless, Red Cat Racing Tornado, which is a very inexpensive vehicle out of the box. It's a fun little vehicle. My son actually has one. It's a fun little vehicle, but it has a certain amount of weakness to where, he realized pretty soon after owning it that with the way he drives, I mean, you saw how he drove his Big Rock, right? With the way he drives, he's like me, full trigger everywhere, because it's fun. It's that literal just toggle switch, toggle throttle. It's that toggle throttle like sickness, which is fun, but can be expensive. So he ended up upgrading a few things. I think he went with like aluminum shock towers, which are a little bit thicker. I believe he went with, actually, I should have him bring that thing by so we can get a look at what he did and then have him explain. That's actually, you know what? I'm going to interview my son. That's a good idea. I'll tell you right now, I wish I could do like interviews because I think it would be kind of cool. Maybe that might be a thing. COVID coffee and interviews? I don't know. But yeah. Just compare the differences between how his is upgraded versus mine. Basically, like mine is literally completely stock. I think the only change is, and I'd have to double check, man. I believe the motor that's in this might be from a Habao vehicle that I had. I think. I honestly can't remember. I do have a Hobby Wing setup that I was thinking about putting in this, but that Hobby Wing setup was actually supposed to be, well, it was supposed to be for my LOSI that I never opened. Well, it's funny too, right? My wife comes down here and she's like, "Did you buy another car?" And I said, "No, honey, that is something that I've literally had and never unboxed." And because like I'm constantly like rotating things here, she's constantly thinks she sees new boxes, which they're not. It is funny because it kind of does get me in a little bit of trouble. Because like I said, every 5 seconds, she's thinking I'm buying another RC and I'm not. It's just literally cars that I haven't opened. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think right now I have 7 RCs that I have purchased like way over there that I haven't even broken out of the box because I don't know, man. What am I waiting for? And I even have that Red Cat Gen 8 that I literally unboxed just so I could steal the radio and the receiver out of it. How do you know when you have a problem? Because those people that have problems, aren't they in denial about having a problem? I think it's called addiction. I don't know. There's certain things that are a good addiction, certain things that are a bad addiction. All right. I am going to jump down onto this car. Whatever, guy. We see all the boxes you get delivered. You're funny. Hoarder. Right. If you look at my floor right now, I'll give you a quick little preview of the floor. If you look at the floor right now, it's literally a path that I like weave through to get to certain areas down here. I need another shelf. I need to reorganize. It's really hard because when you have so many parts and cars and projects and stuff, it is hard to like manage that, to get things. For me, it's hard to squirrel. Get what I'm saying? For me, I'll work on a project and I'll get sidetracked by something else, which also brings up, I think I want to do a video about this, but it also brings up a very, very important thing about lipo safety. Now, we talk about, or I've talked about lipo safety as I see batteries strewn about my thing here, my bench. Talk about lipo safety. It is hugely important. I actually do not agree. I understand that if you are charging a battery, the intent is to monitor or be around. But honestly, all of you guys that are in here right now, there's 23 people. There's 23 people and only 12 thumbs ups. What the heck, man? Guy, I have the same issue. Speed Psycho, right? You were hoarding soldering stations, but lumber got so expensive, so you had to quit. Right. But lipo safety, right? If you guys can remember at all, when was the last time that I drove? Now, I'm not including yesterday. When was the last time I drove drag bug? Now, drag bug has been sitting under my bench on top of a pile of lumber, which is under my bench where I keep some lipo batteries. Now, if anybody can, I actually can't remember. I'd have to go through the videos to see when was the last time I picked up drag bug. It had a battery sitting in it, plugged in. And not only was it plugged in, not only what, as you see Chernobyl behind me, see that right there? See that? That is what they call Chernobyl. That is what they call the elephant's foot. If by chance, one of those batteries went up, what's that? There was a Christmas song. I think it's a 12 Days of Christmas, but it was basically this thing where it was this guy sounded like a drunk, and he's like, one light goes out, they all go out. Well, one battery goes up, they're all gonna go up. So I was talking about people that put, batteries in ammo cans and stuff like that. It is a good idea, and no, don't put it in a plastic ammo can. That's not an ammo can. Put it in a metal one, obviously, yes, for transport, stuff like that. I 100% do not agree with stacking batteries all together, even if you have them in a lipo bag. it's like each battery needs to be placed in its own like lipo something bag. And I don't practice any of that. And has anything gone wrong yet? No. It's not like I'm asking for it, but maybe I am. Maybe I am, because look at what the battery was that I ran last in Dragbug. That was still plugged in. That probably still has juice. I'm going to get my cell checker. Because I want to see. I haven't touched this battery. This battery had been sitting plugged in under my bench for however long it's been since I've ran Dragbug. And that is the 100. I mean, you can't even say 100% wrong. That is 500,000% wrong, especially with this battery. This is a Zop Pop. These batteries are just, these are Zop Pops. I'm going to go get my cell checker and see if, I'm going to check and see if there was power. So I'm going to put you on vector over here. You can see vector over there. All right. I don't know where my cell checker is. I know I have one. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. It's right here. Just wasted that time. All right. So this is my cell meter. So I'm going to plug the Zop Pop pack that had been sitting in that RC for I don't even know how long. See what we got here. So that Zop Pop pack was sitting at 58%. Like, I mean, that's probably not totally bad, but still not good. We got cell 1, 3.9, cell 2, 3.8, cell 3, 3.9. So, I guess it's all right. But that goes to show you that even someone like me, that I talk about being cautious with LiPo batteries, and then even I myself just don't even do it. Now, is it because I haven't had one catch fire yet? I don't know. I camera's right there. Keep looking up there. It could be because, you know, there's that thing, right? There's that thing where sometimes it doesn't matter how many times somebody drills. That shouldn't be over there. It doesn't matter sometimes how many times someone drills something. Mitchell, guy, dude, what are you doing, guy? All right, Mitchell. Number one, I'm glad to see you. Number two, thank you for that super chat. But what is going on with you? Now, I know you had some like ton of work to do in your house and stuff like that, but I really would like to see you get some kind of content out there. I don't care what it is, but your last video was like 4 months ago, guy. And you were pretty consistent with putting videos out there. I would like to see you And I know I'm bringing attention to you right now, but I would like to see you throw another video out there, because what do they say? If you lose it if you don't use it. So, guy, get some videos out there, man. I'm telling you, get at least one. Get back into that rhythm. You know what I'm saying? Right. Make the content. You got it. Sergeant J, absolutely. Where was I on this? Squirrel? I don't even know, man. Oh my gosh. Caden. What's going on, guy? Caden, this must be your first time here. I don't ever remember seeing your name. Number one, Caden, why do you want to get an X-Maxx? You want a trash bag too, huh? I'm not saying that the X-Maxx is a piece of crap, but what I will say is that the X-Maxx has, it's a certain kind of truck, and I do appreciate its design, but what I don't appreciate is the known flaws that Traxxas is not and will not address. There are certain things about that truck that I'm sure are phenomenal. You know, it's funny, right? So I see that first comment about an X-Maxx, right? When I had said, oh, hey, that shouldn't be over there, what is that doing there? That was this. This is an X-Maxx rear bumper, front bumper. Can't remember. I think it's the rear bumper. I have got a bag of X-Maxx right here. So I am going to get my button gear and throw trash bag on the bench. Not today. Throw trash bag on the bench and get the thing going before the year is out. I've had that RC for far too long for it to literally be just sitting there doing absolutely nothing but collecting dust and spiders. So, Guru, Integrity, what's going on, guy? Boost, what's happening? So what I was going to say is, if anybody ever directs anything to me, make sure you put the @ symbol rcguygarage. That way I know you're talking to me. You put thousands in your X-Maxx, constantly repairing the car. I have to say, right, think about when the X-Maxx came out. The X-Maxx came out, what, did the X-Maxx come out in 2015? Is it 2015 the X-Maxx came out? I can't remember. It was quite a while ago. Got a nice soothing rain. I'll tell you right now, you can keep your rain. I am so sick of rain right now. C Stone, what's going on, guy? 2015? Yeah. So when you think about it, man, that truck coming out that long ago, it's a damn good design. It's holding up very well. Traxxas part supports that vehicle fairly well. They made HD parts for it, which are actually better than RPM. That's a proven fact. If you go on Earl Moorhead's channel and see some of the, I think it was like 6 months ago or 8 months ago or something like that, when I had recommended to Earl to get the front hubs. The RPM came out with front hubs, and I was all excited because that's the #1 replacement, is replacing the rear hubs with RPMs so you can get the bigger bearings, because the bearings blow out, you know, with the Traxxas. But he did that and immediately had issues, and then realized, or came to the realization, that the RPM warranty that everybody thought was what the warranty was is not the case. And he has since taken off his RPM front hubs and went back to, I think, went back to stock X-Maxx stuff because it does hold up. Now, if you break something, I want to say if you break something, what is it, 9 times out of 10 or 8 times out of 10, that it is your fault. You pushed the RC beyond its capability, or you landed wrong, crashed, didn't catch a fracture. Who knows? But at least Traxxas parts seem to be pretty resilient. I don't know. Why did I go off on that? Oh, yeah, because somebody was thinking about buying a X-Maxx. I'd say hold off on the X-Maxx, man, and just get a Max. The other thing, too, about the X-Maxx is having the room to run. Any of those, and even though the X-Maxx was not a 5th scale RC, and I think what's funny, if you guys caught that video with Earl Moorhead, right? Earl is constantly trying to pound it into everybody's head that the X-Maxx is not a 5th scale RC. Yet, in his own dang video, he called the X-Maxx a 5th scale. And I obviously, I jumped on him right on that. But Earl has 2 X-Maxes. I'm not saying that he's, the guru of X-Maxx, but he's been around the block with those vehicles, and he absolutely loves it. And then you've got Chef Beardsley, who absolutely loves his Outcast, his 8S tank Outcast. Now, has it gone through some upgrades? Yes. Has his X-Maxx gone through some upgrades? I think it has. I think he did RPM stuff on it. I can't remember. But even Chef Beardsley is coming across some of those issues where, and I think Sergeant J has got a totally modded out X-Maxx. But Chef Beardsley, I think, sometimes forgets how much pain he had gone through on his Outcast. It's a totally different vehicle. It's a tank. It's heavy. I think he's had so much time with that RC that, he knows how to control it. Where maybe with the X-Maxx, I don't think he's had as much time. And it seems like every single time he takes his X-Maxx out, from memory and videos that I've seen, I think he breaks it somehow. Something breaks, something pops, whether if it's a tire blowing off a wheel or, I don't know, bearings, hubs. I don't know. He even had a massive issue, I think, with the rear differential. I think it was the rear differential. It was either the front or the rear where the thing literally split in half. Not the case. The literal differential exploded. Like what you would see in the rear end of a car, just carnage. Take off that back cover and just pieces just came out. Crazy. Yep, there you go. Chef Beardsley right there. Earl Moorhead, right. ERC, what's going on? ERRC. What's going on, guy? When are you going to run trash bag into a boulder at full speed? No. No, thank you. Got to get trash bag running first. Where are we here? I think back on drag bug. I'm going to turn the camera around so you can see what's going on. Let's talk about a bunch of things. But lipo safety. Careful. Careful with your RCs. Don't run your RC and then just stuff it in your closet with the battery still in it. Take the battery out and put it in a cinder block or something. I don't know, man. I can't believe that when I pulled drag bug out from under this bench, I cannot believe that there was a and a Zop Bob. The batteries that I absolutely hate. and I still run, was still plugged in, man. Horrible. All right. All right, so this is Dragbug. The most recent addition was the custom-made wheelie bar from Exotic Metals. Yeah, Exotic Metals. This is a piece of stinking aluminum from Home Depot. Strap aluminum. All right. So I'm just going to pop this stuff off. I do want to get my son's Tornado over here just to get a look at it. And this is, like I said, this was a budget build. I blew the budget yesterday by putting these on, which these 100% do not belong on this vehicle. It probably will do good with these, but probably better with this. So what the issue that I came across yesterday was, get the scale out here. I love this scale. Pretty cheap scale. All right, so the wheel and tire combination that I ran yesterday that was hooking up unbelievably well. Yes, it's a little pin cushion tire, but because it's so soft, like to even understand how soft it is, just touching it causes it to flatten out. So 78.8 is what I'm getting for that. 78.8, consistent. What I ended up doing, which totally upset the whole car, was I threw those tires on. I don't think it had anything to do with the wheelie bar because I ended up kind of getting things to go right. But when I threw these on, because rotationally, these are just so much heavier. It ended up, like I said, it ended up upsetting the entire car. So now I went from something that was what did I say? 78, almost 79. So it's 78.8. So almost 79 grams. And I went with this, which totally ruined everything. This is great if you've got the power to back it up. I don't in that vehicle. That thing is 206 grams. 206 grams. And it totally ruined everything. So those are coming off. I do want to put this one on. This is a Team Associated DR10 tire and wheel setup. This is one of the last ones that I have that were kind of still usable, kind of semi-usable. You can see the waffle pattern. So when you look at what is that? All right. Where was it? So the waffle pattern on this tire. So this one, you can actually see the pattern that basically holds the inside of this tire together. There's like this, it's not waffle, it's like a diamond. And what's happening is if you're able to look at the tire, the sections of where the ribbing on the inside, like I can see it right there. So let's see if I can get my thing here. I don't know if this is going to work, but where is it? So it's like a pattern like this that is inside this tire, right? And what's happening is because this tire is worn, when this tire spins, these little squares or diamonds, whatever you want to call them, these are actually protruding. So as this tire grows, these sections are just getting thinner and thinner. And it's basically causing a loss of traction. You know what I'm saying? So these tires are kind of junk. I have new ones. I just haven't glued them up. So I think I want to do, and let's just see what this would weigh, because this is ultimately, I feel this is the route that I want to go. These DR10 tires, these team associated ones, they're very sticky. They don't last very long, but they're sticky. And with drag tires, that's kind of what you have to know, is that you are going to be spending a lot of money on tires because it's a consumable. So this is, let's just say 91. It's 90.9. Isn't that nuts? This tire right here, which is so much fatter, so much wider, it looks like a chunkier, beefier rim. This thing weighs less. 78.8 versus 91. See, it's 90.9, 91. For now, I'm going to, until I take my DR10 tires and glue them up and, get them ready, I'm going to take this and throw this one on drag bog and see what I get. At least I hope I can. You know what? I might have an issue with that. So we're looking at 130.8, so 131. But when I threw these things on, which I knew these were tanks, I actually talked about in the video that this was way overkill for this, because this thing just doesn't have the power to be able to push or rotate 206 grams of fat. I am going to switch over to these Traxxas MTs. And then, like I said, once I get the new set glued up, I'll throw these ones on. Everything is a consumable, right? Even your cars are consumables. So I think that kind of covered that. But what I was doing was I wanted to pull off the thing here. A lot of people were asking, like, how wow, this is falling apart. I was wondering why the body was pulling up so high. During one of the crashes, the little stupid mount that I made ended up blowing apart. I didn't even realize that. So I'm going to have to redo that mount. But even this, even how I've got this set up is very just cheap and cheesy. It was literally just to get it done. And then, I've had a bunch of accidents with this thing. But this was just a fun little project. That's all it was. was just a project, just to because I was, you know, enjoying drag racing so much. And I was trying to remember, was this the same length? I was trying to remember. Is it the same wheelbase? Can't remember if it's the same wheelbase or not. Probably not. There goes that screw, gone forever. Seriously, gone forever. Where the heck did it go? I'll tell you, man, how do things disappear that fast? That is gone. What the heck? Oh, there it is. That's why I couldn't see it, was because it's this. So, as far as this thing even being like a budget build, oh, RC Master, are you talking to me? 11K? Dude, it's crazy. I think you're talking to me. Even this right here. Do you have any idea how old that is? How old that is? There's a lot of people out here that probably don't even know what this is from. But that's how cheap I was being. So now I've got to somehow figure out once again how to mount this back up. But anyways, like I was saying, this is just a stock Red Cat Racing Tornado EXP or EPX or something like that. It is a short wheelbase because the wheelbase of the DR10 is right at 13 inches. The wheelbase of this is coming in at 11. Like I said, this was just a project, something to have fun with, something that basically anybody could do. Take something that was, at least this, was a four-wheel drive vehicle. I pulled the axles out. I took the gears out of the differential, took the drive shaft out, obviously, and was able to turn this into a fun drag car. But putting on these wheels took that fun away yesterday. That's also why I might not post the video, because you can kind of hear me being annoyed. Because I knew I shouldn't have put these on, but I still went ahead and did it anyway, and I never should have. So instead, I am going to go ahead and throw the MTs on. And again, this is probably going to be overkill for this. It would probably work way better with the Team Associated DR10 tires, like I was saying, because they're very slick. Not slick. They're very grippy. You run those things through sand and it just literally picks up all the sand. But I have these on hand right now. And I figure they're going to work a heck of a lot better than the curls that I had on there. It's just this vehicle is just not for beadlock. Yes, Chef took his Jado and made a drag. There was a bunch of people that went into doing the drag bug stuff. I think it was fun. Seemed like a lot of people enjoyed it. Now, there's a few other things that I felt like I wanted to see if I could address, but I don't think I can because I think just these bearings themselves are super sloppy. It's everything about it is just slop. It's a slop machine. I do believe that I put 20 million in the differential, I think. Yeah, I think I did. Gearing wise, fairly confident that I cannot go any bigger than what I've got in there for a pinion. And I believe that's because, you know what? Maybe I could. I think it's just gear wise that I don't have the gears for it. But let's see. I think I'm maxed out on the motor mount. What I would have to do is I would have to mill out this motor mount in order to be able to get this motor to slide over anymore. It is a 3300 kV. This may be the stock motor now that I think about it. Reason why I say that is because it does not say Habao on it where this one does. So this is the Habao setup. This is in my little, this was also a challenge with JORC. So this was a, what the heck is this thing called? A phaser chassis or something. It was supposed to be a rally, you know, kind of thing. Turned it into doing a baseball diamond. I think 2 times one way, 2 times the other way or something like that. I forget. But you can see how I've got the springs set up right now to get these tires. Well, no, wait a minute. To get these tires to hook up, which they were hooking up. It's just the car couldn't handle it. We've got next to nothing on this side. We've got it basically cranked all the way down on that side. The only way to give this side any more spring tension would be to add those shims to the shocks. Add some shims, and that would be able to back off. Because right now, if you look at how this shim is basically the size or the gap. So essentially what I could do is I could back off this tension ring or tension adjuster, install this, and then I could then further increase the hit. But now that I've changed these tires, everything once again has completely changed. Height wise, they're the same, but fat wise, massive change. That's a big change. So I am going to test this out as is with these drag slash MTs. These are a very good tire. I was having really good luck with the Traxxas drag slash. What I want to do is somehow be able to get this to be competitive against the slash out of the box, which is kind of still kind of out of the box because it's running its stock system, just no drive shaft. The other thing that I realized, which again, it's all going to change, was that massive amount of cogging with these 209 gram wheels or 206 gram wheels. Massive amount of cogging. But once it hooked and once it went, that motor, that thing never even got hot. And I was doing pass after pass after pass with that thing. So I'm shocked with how this worked, which made me realize that if it's possible for me to, you know, mill out this motor mount, get that motor mount to slide out that much further, I will be able to put on a bigger pinion. It's just finding the pinions that may be the issue, which I thought I had a thing here with a whole bunch of pinions in it. Oh, right here. So I do. I still do. I have, I think, bigger pinions. I think. Oh, I definitely do. I think. I wonder if that's the right pitch. Because that's the other thing, too, about Red Cat. I think the pitch is that odd. And that one is definitely bigger. So that might be the reason why I may have stopped. Because this is that mod 0.6. I think this is Red Cat. I think that's why I have this. I believe that's it. But I think that pinion right there is the largest pinion that I could go with without modifying further that motor mount. Almost call it engine block. Modifying that motor mount. I wonder if I can just mill out the top and have it kind of tilt out. I don't know if I've got the... Yeah, I don't have the room on the chassis. You know why? It looks like it could slide out further, but I don't think I can. Yeah, I don't know. Doing a project like this is different because you're trying to sometimes force something to work. You're trying to force something to do what it wasn't designed for. You know what I'm saying? Which, you know, it gets you in a whole bunch of trouble because it forces you to think outside of the box and try to make things work. Like, you know, how I made a foolish mount out of a piece of plastic here. You know what I'm saying? Which obviously, you know, through the accidents eventually, you know, wiped out. But I do need to make another mount here. And I know that all it has to do is just basically sit right there. And that allows this bug thing here to fit on. So this thing has definitely seen better days. I don't know how to pronounce that name. But whoever that is, man. Suthis? Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Keep up the great work on the videos and channel. Dude, totally appreciate that, man. Thank you. What pliers? What, these? Dude, this is how all my tools look. Still work. Just about all my tools get washed by the rain. People think I'm kidding. I'm not kidding, man. Just about every... Not my table saw. So I have a pretty good rigid table saw that doesn't see rain, but the table itself, because it lives in my garage, there's moisture in the garage. The table itself has definitely seen some moisture, but the saw itself is mint. That has never seen rain. But my little it's either a Black & Decker or a Skill. I think it's a Skill. little portable saw that I think I paid $100 for way back in, God, I think it was the 90s that I bought that saw. I still have it. That thing has seen rainstorms, snow. I mean, and that thing, I'll go and plug it in right now, and the thing fires up and it cuts straight. As long as your blade is good and you don't, let the motor get, mangled by moisture, that little saw has been one of the greatest purchases that I've made, because you take that thing, you just throw it in the back of your truck or throw it inside your truck or whatever you got. And it, as long as the blade is sharp, and I shouldn't even say that because I've used a dull blade on that thing. But as long as the blade is sharp, man, it will cut straight enough. I've done some pretty good detail work with that little table saw. Why was I talking? Oh, yeah, I was talking that because just about every one of my things gets washed. Like right now, my backpack blower, my pressure washer that should not be outside is just sitting outside in the tall grass. My trimmer is sitting on top of my trash barrels. It gets soaked by the rain. And do I pay for that? Yes, I do. I pay because those plungers, the little primer bulbs, those things are always going out on me because I don't take care of anything. I am sometimes the king of tool abuse. Horrible. Absolutely horrible. I'd probably cost myself less money if I took care of my stuff, but even in my garage, I just don't have the room to put stuff anymore. I hate to say it. It's kind of like I just have that I don't care attitude. If you saw, did I do a video on it? If you saw where I left my wife's Traxxas Maxx, people would probably track me down and steal the vehicle for themselves. I left that thing outside for a month. I had a piece of plywood leaning up against my deck posts. I had a piece of plywood laying up against that. I had the Traxxas Maxx sitting on the plywood like that with no body on. Well, the body was on the top. Rain side out for like a month. It could have been 3 weeks. I still think it was a month. I had forgotten about it. And it's not like I didn't see it, because when you let the dogs out and you come back, you can see it. Out of sight, out of mind. And that thing, the Traxxas Maxx, is totally fine. Being left outside in those conditions. And everybody knows that we've had a ton of rain this year. So I don't even know how many rainstorms the thing went through. Rain showers, getting dried by the sun, more rain showers. I mean, you want to talk about being abusive to stuff, that's a pretty good amount of abuse. I always see that meme. I ain't got time for that. I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with me. Something's wrong with me, though. All right. So this drag bug is basically ready to take it out for a couple of hits. I'm going to take my OVONIC pack, I'm going to charge it up and take it out, get a couple more test runs on it. If you saw the video that I posted, I think it was this morning. If you saw that video, surprisingly, this thing runs really, really well for being just a thrown together, just let's see if this works kind of vehicle. I am going to back off. I'm going to zero out the springs right now. Only because, yeah, look at that. You can see how locked down it was. I'm going to zero everything back out because I'm starting from and it smells like it's all right. Because I'm starting fresh. So I think I want to see where this is right now, which that's actually the ball end. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just looking to see, because it does make a difference. Even though this is like a super slop machine, it does make a difference for when you get that hit. And right now it looks like that's straight, man. That seems like it's hitting pretty straight. I'm going to just take the battery and just throw it in right now just to see what this looks like. Now, looking at that front, you can see that front left collapses first. Oh, wait a minute, maybe not. Yeah, it does. Wonder if I should put the stock shocks back in. So I'm saying when I lift up, of course now. See how that front dives first? So why is that? See how I did stuff? See, the question is, if I shift that battery up front, yeah, see, I can already tell just by doing that, I'm getting no front movement. So it's almost like I wonder if I take the factory springs and throw those in, if they're just too, I can't remember why I took the originals off and put these real weak ones on. It may have been because there was too much tension with the originals. Yeah, you can see this one's collapsing first. And there's no way to adjust the rate. I think I may have taken it off just because the factory ones may have been just too heavy. So there were these. I think they were too heavy. Yeah, they definitely were. Too tight. That's exactly why I did that. Wish I just had another set of springs. just need something light. Because the other thing too, I don't know. You know what's funny is I even got rid of the spring cups too. I don't know where those are. Crap. Yeah, it's too tight. Oh, whatever. The other thing too is I could possibly shift the battery forward. But then I think that's, yeah, see, it's collapsing that side. So I wonder if my shock oil is messed up in there. It feels tight. Almost seems like it was leaking. You having a Mojave 6S for breakfast? That's interesting. Can't run today, it's raining. All the sand that's in there. What I wanted to do is I wanted to see what the oil looks like in this thing. Because the other thing to do, oh, look at that. The other thing to do is to run it without a spring. Let's see what happens. That might be the key right there. I'll run it without a spring. What shock oil? I have no idea. Pretty sure this is stock. Whatever the tornado had in its stock. Oh, I don't even have an adjusting collar on this side. Oh. That's weird. Why don't I have an adjusting collar on this side? Yeah, actually, you know what? That might work. Oh, that actually might work. The only thing is, you know what? Maybe the reason why I didn't do that was because there wasn't enough. Yeah. Maybe because it was too heavy in the front. Yeah, so if I could use fuel tubing, I could possibly use fuel tubing right now to limit the shock from hitting the ground and still allowing there to be some travel. I think that's what I'm going to try. You know what? I think that's what I'm going to try. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to try. All right, I know I've got some fuel tubing here somewhere. I saw it just yesterday when I was cleaning up things in here. Yeah, I just did do quotes. Ah, where's the fuel tubing? All right. So I'm going to cut it off straight first. Which, got a blade right here. That's horrible. That's better. So I think that's the reason why I didn't do that before, was because cut it right there. And I'll cut 2 equal lengths, or try to. Yeah, that's not equal. I think that is equal enough. British Columbia. All right. It does bother me that there's an adjusting ring on that side and not the other. Shock fluid's mint. There you go. That works mint, I think. Why does it seem like... Almost seems like... What is going on? So that side's collapsing first. Why is that? Might be that little eyelet thing is either too yeah, so this fuel tubing is just the slightest bit longer. Because I don't think it's the threads. Yeah, it's just a little bit long. That looks better. And I should be able to adjust it this way. That looks better. I'm gonna try that. that's better. Yep. I think. Almost seems like still. Maybe I'm being just too picky. That side is dropping more, so I'm going to give a couple of twists out on this. Maybe I've got just the eyelet too tight on this side. You go like that. Kind of seems even. Well, I'm just going to go with that. I'm done. I got to spend all day here. Good enough. Now, why did I do that? Why did I get rid of the springs and use few tubing? Because what I realized was that this is all just hacked together. These are the original springs that are supposed to be on these shocks, right? Way overkill. They are dual rate, but way overkill for what this thing was. This thing has basically no weight in the front end on this section. The whole differential's gone, drive shaft's gone. It's not running a big fat pack anymore. It's just running a little shorty, which I should start charging this up right now. I mean, I'm even running the old remote. This is that Red Cat Racing 6-battery ancient remote that I don't know how long they use this remote for. What's cool about this pack was that it just kept the weight out of the car. And it made it so that I could actually shift the weight, which I did not experiment with yesterday, and I probably should have, but I may have to experiment with that today. So basically the pack sits like this, and I should be able to shift the weight forward if I need it to shift forward. So right now I've got it set so it's all the way back. Why did I use these springs? Or whatever. It was because initially I didn't waste my time with fuel tubing to limit the shock travel. Right now, I limited the shock travel so that I'm not going to scrape on the ground. But it's going to allow the vehicle to lift to basically like catch that weight. And the balance is trying to use the weight of the vehicle versus the traction of the rear tires. You know what I mean? Like, as these hook up, which these will hook up better than these, although these were working flawless, it'll hook up, and I will need, hopefully, a certain balance of weight, which is why I have... Where are my weights? I've got weights. I have stick-on weights here somewhere. What I'll end up doing is I'll start by sticking weights, probably on the front. I don't know if I'll stick it here or I'll stick it inside, whatever it is. Maybe I'll even stick it on the arms. I don't know. And the point is to try to get the balance of weight to work with the added traction. Do you know what I mean? Because I don't have a slipper clutch, and I like to just bury the throttle. So, yeah. No slipper clutch, bury the throttle. This should work. The next thing obviously would be gearing. I wish this didn't cog so much, but it does. A censored system would definitely get rid of that. So something like this, that would definitely help with that. And what I was thinking was trying this out. This is a 3200 kV motor, basically similar to what this is. This is a 3300 kV motor, but this is censored. So this would automatically know where the motor was with the ESC, so there would be limited, well, no cogging, supposedly. And then the thought was, in which that's just a temp sensor, so that's not going to work. The other thought was, too, to try this system right here, which was in my EPX. This is a 5400 kV with a Hobby Wing Max 10. There was the thought of maybe taking this and sticking that in there just to give it a shot, just to see what it would do, but, man, that starts to take away this whole budget kind of build. Because that was the whole point of this, was just budget. Use kind of like what you had on hand and create something that you could potentially drag race with. Obviously, the body's not covering the wheels. That could be rectified by getting the correct style body for it and stuff like that. But who knows? Maybe I can even put plastic. But it's literally just to get out there and do something different. This is kind of a, not really a throwaway RC, but it kind of is. I mean, come on. Look at the wheelie bar that's on the bottom here. It's made from exotic alloys. Now, with the way this is set up right now, this is what I think I'm seeing. With the way this is set up now, it already does wheelie, and it drops the front end down at about, so it wheelies, gets the G impact, and then it starts to top out at about the same distance that it gets to that point of where the suspension unloads. Do you know what I mean? Like, see when it, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm not good at explaining this stuff. I could see it in my head. So I'm hoping that right now, as the front end lifts, the tires are just going to hopefully come just off the ground. And then a split second later, I think the wheelie bar is going to tag the ground, which should help keep that front end down. We'll see. I will say, if I show you the footage from this thing, these tires grew so damn much. And because of that 3300 kV, even though it's only on 2S, man, these things turned into flying saucers. So I'm going to give this a shot as is. Just exactly the way it is right now. I'm just hoping that what I'm doing here is actually going to work. And like I said, in my head, in my head, I see it working. You know what I'm saying? But the only way to know is to try it. And that's also sometimes how you learn. You don't always learn just by watching somebody else. You learn by trying to figure it out yourself. You know, what can I change on this to make it so that, you know, maybe the front end's not going to come up too high. Okay, well, I'm going to limit it by putting a wheelie bar on it. Then that's going to, you know, just like, whatever. Is this an HPI? No, this is a Red Cat Racing Tornado. If you're talking to me. I can't tell if you're talking to me. Remember, you got to do the @rcguygarage if you're talking to me. Wide open throttle, you know it, guy. Bury the throttle, right. Nitro, you know all about burying that throttle, man. All right. Did I even... Oh, I didn't even charge the battery. What am I doing? I mean, I didn't even check the battery. We don't charge in-house. Now, see, that battery was fully expended. I ran and ran and ran that thing yesterday. That battery was full. That was coming in at 3.7. All right. Then I got 21 people. So, by maybe just a thumbs up or whatever on screen. Out of the 21 people here, is COVID and coffee something that you enjoy? Is COVID and coffee something that you would want to consistently see? And I've talked about it before, I just don't pay attention to the answers. But if, like, you know, you do the, not the thumbs up on the video, but the thumbs up just like in the chat, out of the 26 people here, it says now, is COVID and coffee something that should stay? And I don't know, man. Just, you know, give a thumbs up. Like I said, not on the video, but just on the chat. So Mitchell says yes. Sergeant J doesn't listen to direction. Keep the COVID and keep the coffee chat, right? All right. Twin Rider, Will Thompson. Uncle Chap, what's going on, guy? Your first time here. If you're not sure what was, I don't enjoy the COVID so much, right? But the coffee talk is good, right? The only reason why it's called COVID and coffee, I'm sure, like, people know, the only reason why it's called COVID and coffee was because it was during lockdown. That's how the show got started. I just called it COVID and coffee because at that time, so many people were on lockdown, considered non-essential workers or whatever it was, that, I don't know, I got community violation things initially. Initially, when I started COVID and coffee, I was getting hit by YouTube on every, and that's something that you guys don't know. I was getting hit for like community violations or whatever the heck it was. It was deemed as non-monetizable. And it's like, what are you talking about? And eventually they stopped giving me the notices and they let it fly. And I think because what they saw, you know, YouTube is greedy. What YouTube saw was that it's a harmless show. It's basically the reason why it was called COVID and Coffee was because it was during the whole thing. So it gave, you know, people a place to go and, you know, waste a couple hours with me. But I think what was cool, though, is that the time wasn't wasted because it created kind of like a community, which is pretty cool. And it wasn't always about, you know, RC junk. It was about just sometimes whatever. It was about barbecues. It was about, you know, anything that like we could get, you know, going on for a conversation. The main focus is obviously RC related kind of content, but I'm not stuck in I never will be. I'm not stuck in my head that that's, you know, the only content that I ever make, because that, to me, that would be boring to just only make content that's related to that. And some people don't like my tractor. Some people don't like, you know, automotive videos that I do. And it's like, well, it's because that's not for you. You know, I mean, come on. I did a under sink thing. I did a thing on my robotic vacuum video, just videos in general. So Earl Moorhead, guy, what's going on? X-Maxx coming back, punishment almost over. Yes, it's almost, yes, the X-Maxx is almost coming out of its timeout, you know, in the corner there. I do have literally the bag of parts. I had the bag of parts. Yeah, right here. So basically what's inside this bag right here is everything essentially that should put the X-Maxx back together. Mainly it was those things that I needed. But everything, camera's there, guy, not over there. Everything is in this, that's in this bag is to get the X-Maxx going again. I even, oh, actually, no, it's not everything, because the bearings for the motor. So what stopped my X-Maxx, wherever the motor is, well, I've got an X-Maxx motor here somewhere, but what stopped my X-Maxx from going was literally the motor slop. That was like, I think that was like last ticket on that. Then I switched it over to a system that I should have put a fan on, and I didn't. And I ended up cooking a brand new SPEKTRUM motor. I think it was a, what was it, a 2150? I forget what that motor was. No, sorry, 1250 kV, right? Not 2150. That's the dyslexia in me. I think it was a 1250 kV motor, brand new, that I cooked, because I didn't put a fan on it. And I didn't think that I would cook the motor that fast, but I did. Too much traction with those Duratrax lockups. They literally were locking up the traction for the X-Maxx. I just got this big thing between me and the X-Maxx, so that's why it's called Trash Bag, because one of the a subscriber actually named it Trash Bag, and it stuck. Perfect name for it. Leroy, see you later, man. New motor bearings, yes. Courtesy of Earl Moorhead. He didn't buy them, but he provided a link to get the bearings. They did take a little bit, you know, on time to get, you know, to me, but he had actually said that. And actually, the bearings right here. No. Man, I hope I didn't misplace the X-Maxx bearings, because these aren't them. But it was a purchase on eBay. Yeah, see these bearings right here. These are for, wait a minute. Oh, there we go. The X-Maxx bearings right there. Put that right in the bag. But these bearings right here are for, the reason why I've got a few of them is because these are the TRBRC bearings for those 3200K, cameras there, the 3200 kV SPEKTRUM garbage motors that the pinion side of the bearing just wipes out like in 2 packs. In 2 packs of toggle throttle. What's been running that Big Rocket Diamond Dust? a SPEKTRUM 3200 kV motor with an upgraded bearing. That's what's been running the Big Rock. Let's put it this way. I got a bearing for my son's Big Rock because he's got, I don't know how many packs he's got in his. I think he's got 2 packs, 3 packs maybe, bearings in there. Yeah, 3 packs into that bearing. And I would like him to bring that truck over and, you know, show him how to tear it down and get to that motor to see if after only 3 packs, if his bearing in his brand new Big Rock is wiped out. The bearing after what, 2.75 packs on my Senton was totally obliterated. Like, I mean, that was bad. 2 point, and I didn't even know. That's the bad part. I realized it when I went to go work on the car. I think when I fixed the wheel, I went to go push it forward and it was locked. And that's when I realized that the motor, the bearing has seized. Have I heard of Jim's bearings? Yes. I've heard that they are good bearings. As a matter of fact, I have Jim's bearings for my Limitless, I believe. So with the exception of a couple of things, in this box right here, the majority of this is for my Limitless. Not obviously this stuff, because this is Habao stuff, but this is for my Limitless. These, why? I don't know, just to be different. Not that. Scorched RC. Got a whole ton of pinions. This was that's not the servo. That's the servo for my Kraton. That's for the Kraton that never even... This is for the Big Rock that I never installed, M2C. Good stuff, but man, expensive. For what it is. I don't know what that... This is for my Limitless. Why? I don't know. No reason why, other than supposedly what this was to do was to tighten up a little bit of the steering slop. It was a thought. That's for my Limitless. Yeah, here we go, right here. Oh, these are Fast Eddie, sorry. These are Fast Eddie bearings. I thought they were Jim's. But this was for my Limitless. It's a ceramic sealed bearing kit. Why did I get it? I don't know, because I want to build something that I can't control. More bearings. Yeah, bearings. Gears. Scorched RC. These are the rear drive shafts, because I figured that's where all the power is going to. Yeah, okay, here we go. The heck is it? That's the wrong one. That was for my UDR. Now, here we go. I think these were gears that I was going to attempt. I think. But eventually I'll get the Limitless going. It is the intention. I always have good intentions. I don't know. Sometimes just get distracted with squirrels. Literally this is a game changer box, by the way. So Not only does Game Changer provide a phenomenal fan, but he provides phenomenal boxes for you to reuse. Elastic bands. He provides you with heavyweight bags. He gives you these awesome boxes that you can put your parts in. Game Changer, he's a good guy. He's changing the game, man. We're trying to. I do have Game Changer fans. I think they're upstairs. So I did actually receive a package rather recently in the mail from Game Changer RC. I just gotta sit down and do a video on it. It's a 2-in-1, but it's 2 different size fans. So the dual fans, I think, are 30 millimeter, and then I think the other fans are 40 millimeter. And the intent with that was to be able to have something ESC / something motor. One thing that I'm trying to figure out was the Traxxas slash that I've got, the 4x4 slash. I do need to throw a fan setup on that. And I was talking to Game Changer about that. And I believe he does have a solution even for the slash. Again, Game Changer is basically what he's trying to do is he's providing that one-stop kind of shop type of scenario. There are people out there that are like, he's a ripoff. He's, selling $10 fans for $50. And it's like, you know what? Let's put it this way. Even if that is what he's doing, it's not. Because a $10 fan, you're still going to have to figure out the wiring. With that $10 fan, I don't think you're even getting a warranty. I don't know where you're buying your $10 fans from, or your $5 fans, whatever you're saying. But he has put the time and effort into trying to make it like a fan solution. A semi, and I say semi, drop-in solution. Now, are there other fan manufacturers and companies out there? Yeah. They're just designed as, and I'll say electronic fans, because where else are you going to be using these fans? You use them for electronics. But he's gone through, and if he's getting them for $10 each, his fan, he's buying like 1,000 of them, or whatever it is, whatever he's doing. I have zero problem with Game Changer and his prices because he does have to make a buck, man. And, whether he's doubling his money or whatever it is, he's putting the time and effort into figuring it out. He sends product out to testers, which there's a couple of testers out there that test his products, give feedback. If you've watched his series of progression, some of the first fans that I received from Game Changer just had wires, no plug. You had to figure out the plug. Now he's got Chinese finger torture, wrapping to protect the wires. He's got, fan covers and plates and screens and the hardware that's associated with that. Some of his fans come with heat sinks. He has heat sinks that you can buy. He's trying to make it so that when you go to his eBay store, you basically put in your order, and it's not just putting in an order. He will bounce back with a question saying, well, what's this for? Or what's this setup on? Or whatever the whole process is. And all of that takes time. When you go buy those, $5 or $10 fans or Alibaba fans, you've got no one that you're talking to. You literally, you look at the fan, you're like, okay, I think that's what I want. And I am going to do a video about basically just that. I have got a plethora of $5 and $10 fans, and we'll see you know, based upon my limited experience in purchasing off eBay or whatever, can someone like me find that exact setup? No, because only Game Changer's making him that exact way. So, I don't know. What do they say? To each his own. You know? He puts the time and effort into trying to provide a good cooling solution. And I can appreciate what his time and effort. I really can. You know? Is anything perfect? No. But he also has a warranty or guarantee or whatever that it is. If you come up with an issue, he'll do his best to resolve that. I don't think you're getting that from these $5 and $10 fan Alibaba things. And at least for us over here in the States, because he's in the States, the shipping is relatively quick. I don't know what it's like to ship. You know, I don't know if he even ships like overseas or whatever. But that rowboat is pretty damn slow. I don't know. Right. They are powerful. Took care of you for sure and replied to your questions right away. William Thompson, right. Game Changer RC fans are made to order and built for the customer, right. And he knows you ordered it right. Right. What would be, that would be a great test. What? All the fans that I've got? Wait till you see, man. I again, if that's what you're talking about, it's going to be a pretty funny video, I think. What's my favorite RC car besides the Big Rock? Drag Bug. No. Yeah, I think RCC Steve has it. There's also a reason why. It's considered like a grab and go. It is an expensive grab and go, but that vehicle makes you think you're a better driver than you really are. And I think I've talked about this before. Because the DB Pro is an open wheel buggy, I tell you, one of these days, I don't know how I'm going to manage it, but one of these days, I want to get my hands on an old original Tyco turbo hopper. Because when I was a kid, man, how old was I? How old was I? It's not a hobby grade RC, obviously it's Tyco. But it was a 9.6 volt Tyco turbo hopper, which is kind of like a small scale, like maybe like a grasshopper, like a Tamiya or Tamiya. I'm just going to call it Tamiya. That's what I call it. It's Tamiya. It's not Tamiya. It's Tamiya. It's like a grasshopper. And I think the DB Pro, because it's that open wheel buggy, just kind of like reminds me of that. But the DB Pro just, man, it's the first vehicle that I bought two of. And when I saw someone like Earl Moorhead, and I'm like, why would somebody be crazy enough to buy two of one vehicle? Like, that seems dumb. Well, it's kind of not dumb, because when you find an RC that just works that well, if you have the means to be able to get its double, granted, I don't really particularly care for the Lucas branding. I do like Lucas Oil, but on the car, it just doesn't look right. But that's the first that I bought a second one of that I haven't ran. I've basically been taking parts off, which I'm done. I'm done doing that. And the only reason why I took parts off of it was because of Horizon Hobby. Don't get me started on Horizon Hobby. right. Game Changer also fixes fans, right. Both. Oh, both broke. What about the Kaiju? Yeah, the Kaiju is awesome. But I think if I was to put the Kaiju up against the DB Pro, I would probably still pick the DB Pro only because of its drivability. Those being two totally, you couldn't get any more opposite between the two vehicles. It's like taking a drag car and putting it up against an Outcast 8S. You know what I mean? It's like, that's kind of what that is. Value for money, the Kaiju has got it. Does the Kaiju, or did the Kaiju, have out of the box issues? Yes, it did. Very slight. There were fixes for it, and Red Cat actually addressed that. Yeah, the Kaiju is awesome. It really is. But I think the DB Pro edges it out because of its performance. It's a performer, where the Kaiju is a trick truck. That's why it's got such a massive wheelie bar on it. Kaiju's a beast. Yes, it is. You wish I would have gotten a Super Rock Ray? No, I didn't have to, guy. I watched you get yours, and I watched how frustrated you got with your Super Rock Ray. Wait, Sergeant J, I know you like your Rock Ray, and you know what's funny, man? You know what vehicle that, a 1/5 scale vehicle that was the highest rated 1/5 scale vehicle from the internet was the LOSI Rock Ray, Super Rock Ray. And I'm like, who the heck in their right mind thinks that the Super Rock Ray is the best vehicle? A whole different driving experience? Right, the rear axle. Right. Yes. It's probably because you were overdriving it, but without your wife knowing, Sergeant J, how much money do you have into your Super Rock Ray? Just out of curiosity. Because I'll tell you right now, that video you did of you fixing your Rock Ray, and you took it out for not one pack. And I'm telling you, you know, that's why my merch, my first merch drop is called Team Not One Pack. Because just about everybody has been there. Just about. That some vehicle that you have had, you're driving, has caused that vehicle to not be one pack. And everybody has to have gone through that. See, I don't think Sergeant J is going to say how much he spent because he knows he'll get in trouble. His wife right now is on the iPad watching. So basically you spent a whole Rock Ray. Because isn't that about how much those things were? And I know, man, I felt your pain that day. I don't remember if I was subscribed to you before that, or if I subscribed to you because of that video. I can't remember. Oh, this was cool. My wife and I went for a walk, right? We had to go get our little Colby. We had to get our little Colby vaccinated. Yeah. We had to get our dog vaccinated. from rabies. But because where we went, it was a thing at Nelson Park in Plymouth, and they had like it was a doggy day or something like that. They had like vendors and whatever, but they were giving vaccinations for $10 for rabies. But something I've always done with my wife is that when we've gone for like, trips or walks or whatever, I always come home or I always pick up a rock. Now, I did this before, whatever movie that was. There was some movie out there where the individual did that, but I had been doing it before then. But wherever we go, I find a rock. But there's something special about this rock. If it'll focus. So this rock, check this out. Look at that. Look at the inside of this rock. It's all hollowed out like a boat. But they're like little memories. So with this rock, granted it was getting our dog vaccinated against rabies. But I thought that's a neat looking rock. So like little things like this, that's always going to be like a memory of when I went for a walk on the beach with my wife and our little dog too. So it's a pretty cool rock though. That's weird, man. Isn't that weird? That is cool. That is a cool looking rock. A canoe rock. You need a rabies shot? Like 749, right? Okay. Sergeant J. How much do those things go for now? I wonder how much. I wonder if Alexa will know. Alexa, how much is a LOSI Super Rock Ray?
1 moment. Showing results for LOSI Super Rockery. The first one is LOSI Battery Tray Super Rock Ray. It's $13.99.
No. That's not what I was looking for. It's just showing parts. No, you didn't get it right. Something else.
Thanks for the feedback.
Alexa, go home. Sometimes it actually comes up with like, sometimes it comes up with the right answer. So, I wish it showed. You think it's above 800? Keep doing COVID and coffee. RC Steve, I appreciate that, man. You wish it was $15? Oh my God, Sergeant J, what? That's insane. That's absolutely insane. I think I'd rather have this than a Super Rock Ray. That's nuts. Sergeant J, you should sell yours. Oh, somebody asked a question. It wasn't in chat. It was, I think I want to do a video addressing it. I was talking with Earl Moorhead, and we were talking about the pricing of RC stuff and how even the used market right now, it's almost like following and watching the actual automotive market to where prices are becoming so like ridiculous. Now, I'll probably talk about it in that other video thing. Might even do like a StreamYard. I haven't done a StreamYard in a while. Maybe I could do a Shop Talk and Wrench StreamYard talking about the pricing, drag a couple people in, talk about the pricing of stuff. But basically, I wanted to talk about the pricing of things. So, you know, my joke was that all of these other companies got pissed off because they saw what happened with lumber, right? Lumber skyrocketed. A 6x6x8 pressure treated that you could buy for like $22 went up to $78, which was absolutely nuts. And there were clients that I had that wanted things done, and I just said, no, I cannot justify you paying that kind of money. And, you know, whatever. And now prices have come back down, but I think all these other companies got pissed off that for a certain amount of time, you know, building still had to happen and people were pocketing, well, the lumber companies or retail companies or whatever it was. I don't know. Somebody was pocketing some money. And I think that all these other companies got jealous and pissed off and they wanted their piece of the pie too. That's just the way I'm going to go with it. That's my opinion of how it goes. Now, you watch the automotive market right now. They're making, essentially, man, I've got so many videos that I want to do. There are so many videos that I want to do that I just don't do. One of them has nothing to do with nothing that I ever do on my channel other than complaining about something. But for years, I've been buying and wearing a sneaker brand or company called Skechers, right? Because they felt great. They fit my foot awesome. They seem to wear really well. It seems like the sole itself would wear out faster before, you know, the rest of the shoe did. But within the last couple of years, I think I've spent more money on Skechers sneakers than I should have. They're like 50 to 60, 70 bucks for a pair of sneakers. And they're wearing out like in 3 months. Now, I am not abusive, at least I don't think I'm abusive to my sneakers. But I think within a month's time, the inner sole is junk. By the second month, the outside of the sneaker where the rubber sole attaches to the actual sneaker starts to fail, and then the seams start to split in the sides by the third month, and then essentially your sneaker's junk. Now, I don't remember sneakers lasting 3 months. So yesterday, I bought a different shoe called Merrell, and I've never heard of that name brand before. It was almost twice the price of what my Skechers cost. And man, I'm telling you, this sneaker better, or shoe, or whatever the heck you want to call it, hiking something, better hold up, or I'm going to be really pissed. These excuses, getting on COVID, these excuses that are constantly used now, COVID this, COVID that, this is what, you know, this is the reason why we can't get product. This is why your shirts are running late. You heard it, right? I've got merch coming, right? I'm really getting sick of the COVID excuse. These companies, in order to stay in business, you do what it takes to get it right. And it just seems like everybody is using the COVID excuse. Everybody. Amazon Prime used to be 2-day shipping. That's the reason why I bought Prime. You pay, what is it, $109 a year to get Prime? There ain't no Prime no more. Prime is like, yeah, you'll get it when you get it. It's just like, man. There's probably some disclaimer in there that says, oh, yeah, it's for Prime Video and music or whatever. It's with the hopes that you'll get your product within a week. Right. Stoned. Okay, so you're somebody that wears Skechers. Have you noticed that the Skechers seem to wear out faster right now than they ever have? I am literally on my third pair of Skechers, second pair of Skechers within, I think, a 3-month period. And these ones are already starting to fall apart. Like, it's literally the exact timing of what I said is what's happening to this sneaker right here. It's crazy. Stopped ordering from China. Monster Jam, what's going on, guy? You want shirts, at least 2? And all the other swag? I'll tell you, okay. There is going to be... Oh, man. I have something in this bag that's a surprise. If you can see through the bag, I'll just twist it. If you can see through the bag, there's something that's in this bag that's kind of a surprise. There's a whole bunch of them. That to boost sales... I shouldn't even say. I haven't figured out the logistics of everything yet. Also, just out of curiosity. Oh, wait a minute. Stoned. Stoned RC, have you noticed, like, your Skechers or whatever wearing out faster than maybe what you may have remembered? Because I'm telling you right now, mine, I get 3 months out of them, if that. Yeah, this style of shirt. I got this style of shirt and regular t-shirts. K-Swiss. I've heard of K-Swiss. They have been wearing a little quicker. Your partners didn't last as long. Your 6-year-old has been getting 6 months out of a... Yeah. Right. So, because, you know, the kid shoes are basically the same materials, I just feel like I'm noticing adult shoes just are not holding up. And what's crazy is, I think the last time I got a pair of Skechers sneakers, I thought to myself, I don't want to get Skechers again. But then my wife was at the store. She knew I needed a pair of sneakers. And what did she buy? She bought the pair of sneakers that she knows that I would like, which were the Skechers. And, you know, anytime my wife does anything for me, I don't say no. Like, I'm super thankful. So, those sneakers are what I'm wearing right now. And I wish there was a way to figure out when she bought these so I could give literally exact, like, times. But I think within 3 weeks, the inner sole was junk. And I think within that next month, the sole started coming apart from the shoe. And then soon after that, probably like a week after that, the outside seam started to rip. So if you were to like really, if I was to really timeline it, it might be like by the third month, meaning like right into the first week of the third month, it's like these things are junk. Let's put it this way. I've taken something I realized. If you take, sounds weird, and I don't recommend doing it, but I did it and it works. Take the inner sole, rip it out, take the glue off, flip it, and stick it back in, but you have to switch shoes. You get what I'm saying? because if you take it out, it becomes the other side because of the way it's cut. And for some strange reason, the side that is designed to be glued to the shoe wears better than the part that's supposed to be touching your foot. So I probably was able to get another 2 or 3 weeks out of the inner sole, that, you know, cushion part. I was probably able to get like another extra 3, maybe 4, I don't know. I don't know. The reason why I did it was because I had noticed right away that that inner part had started to wear. And some people would probably say, well, I know why that happens, guy, because you don't tie your shoes. And it's like, well, they're tied. GRC, you'll have a bunch of Skechers, right? What happened to Sergeant J? Sergeant J, man. You're going to be at 1,000. Let's put it this way. Is everybody in this chat subbed to Sergeant J? If you're not, go jump over to his channel and make him break over 1,000 right now. It doesn't cost you a dime. Just go to Sergeant J's channel. Type in Sergeant J's RC Adventures, and if you're not subscribed, just go subscribe to him. That'll break him over 1,000 right now. I guarantee, out of 27 people, there's got to be 3 people that are not subscribed to him. Is my guess. Nice. Look at that. William Thompson. Hearthstoned. Gotcha. Monster Jam. So Sergeant J might be over 1,000 now. That would be awesome if you guys did that for him. $9.98. There you go. All right. I think that's good. Battery's definitely overcharged now. I mean, it's not charged because we don't charge batteries in-house. But I think that battery's all set now. It's done checking. $9.98. You should be able to get it. Sergeant J, I'm assuming that today, at some point, you will get to that 1K. That'll be awesome, man. Tony, what's going on, guy? What's happening? Right now, we're wrapping up the show. Just worked on Drag Bug a little bit. He changed the granite bearing. All right. Well, like I said, the charger actually just basically shut off, so I'm going to go ahead and disconnect it. But I'm going to go ahead and take Drag Bug out. It is running on these, and I do unplug the little center lead because that's where the battery strap kind of goes in through. These little packs are pretty good, man. Lightweight, 100C, 5,000 mAh, little 2S pack. And Drag Bug right now What did I change on drag bug? So drag bug today, got rid of the springs, put some fuel tubing in there to allow the suspension to be able to droop, where before it was literally locked like this, the spring tension. I think because I had the heavier battery in there, I think it did make use of the springs, but now that I'm running the little shorty 2S pack, because it's not about the drag racing scene is all about, in reality, 2S, not 3S, 4S, 6S power. It's literally about trying to maximize what your 2S can do or give you, or the ability of 2S. Is this the best battery to use ever? Probably not, but it works. Could I go out there with the expense and get like, a max amps 175C battery? Yeah, I probably could, but that's not where this budget build was. I went out of the scope of the budget build by throwing beadlocks on, which I knew was wrong. It did cause the car to hook up, but it totally upset the car. Every step forward that I had made with drag bug totally got erased by putting on those beadlocks. These performed, even though they're not a drag tire, these things performed because of what this conversion little thing is. It just worked. No slipper. It's previously a 4-wheel drive vehicle that's converted to 2 very easily because there's no slipper. I do wish it had a slipper clutch, though. I am going to have to modify the motor mount in order to fit a fatter pinion. I do have bigger pinions now. I think they're the right ones. This is Red Cat, so it's that funky size. I think it might be the 0.6 mod. I could be wrong. I can't remember. I know that I totally thrashed up a brand new gear. I just can't remember what vehicle it was. But these tires worked, man. Tried these. They hooked up, but it totally ruined every positive thing that was happening with drag bug. Lost a wheel for the wheelie bar that I made from exotic metals. Whatever. I guess that's it. So this is RC Guy Garage, COVID and coffee. Seems like the consensus is COVID and coffee is going to stick around. We've been going now for what? 2.5 hours? Something like that? 9:30, 10:30. Yeah, 2.5 hours, 11 o'clock. Hearthstone, nice. Or Hearthstoned. Right. GRC, we'll see you later, man. Right. It was going. It was the key to drag racing is being able to be consistent. That's the key. But to constantly try to push it and go faster, but retain that consistency, because there's 0 point to drag racing if 1 out of 4 runs is the only run that you get to go straight. And with the way I drive, it's not the right remote, but with the way I drive, and this is just the way I want to do it, you hear the click in every video that I do. That's all I want. I want full trigger. I want the vehicle, and I have pedaled it, meaning backed off after the hit if I noticed it gets a little loose. But what I try to do is I'm trying to figure out how can I keep that click. How can I keep that toggle of that throttle and keep it to going straight? There are ways to do it. It's just trying to figure it out. And then it's trying to figure it out with a platform that was never even designed for that. That's where the frustration can be, but also the fun, because it teaches you within frustration to try to figure it out. Like, do I add weight? Do I add more spring pressure? Is the alignment right? I didn't even realize while I was running that my wheelie bar lost a wheel. And that's observation. I was more focused on the thing going straight and being kind of like shocked. And now I may have upset the vehicle completely again, which is why I backed everything off, used fuel tubing, got rid of the front springs, backed off the spring rate on the rear. Now it's set to 0. Just going to give it a go. Like I suggest you give it a go. That vehicle right there was my first attempt at RC drag racing. And I got hooked by that thing. Isn't that crazy? That thing right there, the DR10, is what pulled me in. And man, that thing was a fight. Probably a fight because I was being impatient and I didn't know anything. But now I feel like I've learned a little bit. A lot of it was self-taught, which is very good. Some of it was listening to people on here. I'm open to anything that makes sense. And also, just because it doesn't initially make sense doesn't mean that it's wrong, but it's kind of like that scenario of the kid touching the hot stove. You could tell that kid that the stove is hot all day long, but every once in a while they need to reach their hand up and touch that stove to figure out why you're so adamant on saying don't touch the stove that it's hot. And I was definitely that kid. Don't touch the stove, it's hot. What does that mean? Psst. Oh, my hand's on fire. So anyways, this is RC Guy Garage. This was COVID and Coffee. I don't even know what episode it was. It was basically said, COVID and coffee, a little bit of the bug. Was that you know that was a play on words, right? COVID, bug, virus. But it was basically talking about the bug. So I am going to be out. And like I always say, what are you doing? Hopefully, it doesn't have to be RC. It could be whatever you're into. Maybe you're into, plumbing. Maybe you're into electrical. Maybe you're into, working with your hands in wood or working on cars for real. But what are you doing? Like today, what are your plans for today? I know that at 1 o'clock I've got to be at a job, but what are you doing? Are you making the best use of every day that you have on this planet? Because life is way, way too short to be worrying about crap. So just get out there and rip something. A joke. Rip into a chocolate cake. This ain't chocolate cake. I don't know what the heck this is called. Some kind of breakfast bread with cheese in it or something. It's not like regular cheese. It's almost like cheesecake cheese. It's weird, but it's bread. I don't know what the heck it's called. My wife bought it and she's like, We should eat that before it's done. So like I said, this is RC Guy Garage, COVID and Coffee. COVID and Coffee's here to stay. Don't forget about the merch drop. That is going to be happening. It was supposed to happen last week. But because of, I feel, the constancy of the excuse of, oh, COVID. That's why I don't have my shirts yet. I could be wrong. It could be, maybe it's a legitimate excuse. But man, I got emailed the day that my order was supposed to be ready saying, we're waiting on a couple of pieces to come in to complete the order. Hopefully, the rest of your order will be either in today, which was last Friday, or Monday. And I'm not trying to be that individual that is second guessing, but come on, man. Let's say you've had a year to figure this out. Get it figured out. All right. We'll see you guys later. I'm going to end this right here. We got... Oops. We got RC Steve. We got Addicted. We got Jers E201. We have got Tegrity, Monster Jam. I think I said RC Steve, right? Yeah. RCD, William, Lorne. What's going on, Lorne? Mere Depth. What's going on, guy? Sergeant J. I think that's it. I know Earl Moorhead was here at one point. Tony stopped in for like a second just to show his face. Dwayne, guy. Come drag race it Wednesday night? No, not yet, guy. This thing can't really be entered into a drag race anyway. I think it goes against like everything that's drag race. Oops. Let's see. Anybody else that I missed? There is no way to adjust any ESC curves with that. It's just a basic system if you're still here, Tony. Bernard was here. I think that's it. And what the heck is that? Somebody sneaked in a green something. What is that? Mitchell, guy. Dude, you already paid your dues. But Mitchell, test and tune. Dwayne? Maybe. I don't know, man. Maybe. I got to test and tune it here first. And I know everything that I'm doing here on my convex road is probably bad. But that would be easy just to adjust the springs. I think that's it. But Mitchell, guy. Come on, guy. Put something out. Put something out, Mitchell. It'll make you feel good. All right, I'm out of here. Thank you guys for coming. And we will see you on the next one. We will see you on the next